3-minute girlfriend. Hashtag soft-spoken, hashtag raised abroad, hashtag storybook, hashtag healing what is missing. Hashtag soft-spoken, hashtag raised abroad, hashtag storybook, hashtag healing what is missing. Sevyun threw her bag down the moment she opened the front door. The room, thick with darkness, was as quiet as a vacuum. Exhaustion pressed on her whole body until even taking off her shoes felt like too much, yet her brain refused to log out and kept running at a terrifying speed. The logical holes in tomorrow's 9 a.m. report. The exact angle of the false smile she would have to produce at the 11 o'clock client meeting. And the sharp remark her team leader had made today about her efficiency dropping. To Seoyun, life was one enormous game. A cruel simulation in which you had to manage every character's need gauge efficiently or face game over. She had cast herself as both the player and the character worked hardest of all. Wake at 7. A flavorless protein shake to fill the hunger gauge. Caffeine injected to raise work efficiency. Daily life, to her, was a list of stats to manage, and relationships were a war of attrition that drained her energy. When she lay down on the bed without turning on a single light, the cold of the sheets touched her skin and made her shiver. The only warm thing in the room was her own ragged breathing. Her heart beat abnormally fast. The feeling of being endlessly chased, or the terror that the delicate glass castle she had built might collapse in an instant, that was the real shape of the anxious person who ruled Seoyun. With trembling hands, she turned on her phone. The blue light lit her pale face. The 3-minute partner app. Perhaps the app itself was her last inefficient act of resistance. Into the filter box, she began typing words she would never normally type. Soft-spoken, raised abroad, storybook, languid low voice, healing what is missing. A faint halo of light bloomed in the darkness, and then she appeared. A beige loose-fit knit hung precariously below her thin shoulders, and in her hand was an old leather-bound storybook worn with age. The moment she arrived, Seon's tiny apartment filled with a foreign scent, like a quiet study in Melbourne or London. She came closer without a word and sat at the head of the bed. Then, with long fingers, she gently wiped the cold sweat from Seon's forehead. The faint warmth at her fingertips spread from Seon's temple through her whole body. "Hey, love. You've been running so hard, haven't you?" A languid, low voice with a trace of nasality. Each time her Australian accent caught at the end of a sentence, the hardness of Seon's tension melted like snow. Seoyun looked at her. That sorrowful yet refined aura, like the lingering echo of some famous singer who had turned all the sorrow of the world into song, and at the same time like a private tutor who existed for her alone. The slender line of her neck, just visible through the knit, held a warmth that was dreamlike and utterly real at once. "Yuni, I can't breathe. I don't know if I'm doing well, or if I'm just falling apart. However hard I run, I feel like I'm standing still, and it frightens me." At her words, the woman laughed low. Even that laugh was sweet, like a melody. She carefully laid Seon's head on her own lap. Sevyun flinched by reflex, but at the warmth of the hand on her forehead she soon gave up all resistance. The woman's lap was soft, and from her came the faint scent of roses and something warm, like freshly baked bread. "Today I've brought a very special story. You don't mind if there's a little English in it, do you? I'll explain every word to you. The kind of story someone should have whispered beside you when you were very small. A story built only from the words you wanted to hear." She turned the page in that languid voice. The rustle of paper cut pleasantly through the silence. The sound landed in Seon's ear as clearly as dry leaves crushed underfoot in a forest.